Steve, you've been in a new role here at Park Hall for about 6 months now. Before we begin to look at what's been going on, first of all, tell us, how did it all come about?
Certainly, yeah. Well, after Craig Harrison's departure from the first team, Scott Rusco was elevated from head of youth to first team manager. Congratulations to Scotty there, and I think, as everyone can see, has been doing a fantastic job. People within the club, it was no surprise on how well he's doing. Great friend of mine as well, and it's pleasing to see how well he's doing. On top of that as well, another good friend of mine and my mentor, Steve Evans, was promoted from head of scholarship, as it was known back then, to assistant manager. So subsequently there was a free role, and with the club's vision in terms of promoting within, it was a natural step where Ian Williams, Scotty and Evo came to me, approached me and said, and myself and Jace, so I asked if I'd be up for the new challenge. And I duly obliged and said, yeah, it would be a fantastic honour. So I went from head of development, which was 12s to 16s, to solely focus on the 19s, or the head of professional phase, as we call it now, which was a challenge straight away in terms of working in the day rather than at night, which I find was the main difference within the academy structure. So that's how the role came about, really. And 6-7 months in, I still within the role, and there obviously have been a lot of high notes, a lot of challenges along the way, which I'll go on to further on. But it's that's how it came about, really.
Well, this is the time of the year, of course, when we often look back and reflect. So 6 or 7 months into your new role, how's it been going for you personally, and of course for the lads that you've been involved with?
Absolutely. So if we look back to pre-season, myself and Evo sat down together before the job role change, and we started to look at pre-season. Obviously the news was broke to me a week, 2 weeks before pre-season, so I wanted to change it to an extent in terms of the type of fixtures we had, the getting to grasp in terms of knowing what Evo was doing. But it was okay. We had a lot of games, we had a lot of contact already, which I think went into the fact of starting the season very brightly, the under-19s Welsh Premier League development year. So far up to date in terms of Welsh Prem, we are sitting top. We've played 12, won 11, lost one very narrowly to Connors Quay. But I think from more an important point of view, there has been a number of boys involved, a high number of boys involved in that Sunday environment. Granted, there have been challenges along the way in terms of keeping players happy, because you can only name a maximum of 16 on the bench, 16 in the squads, whereby only 3 of those are allowed to get on. So it's been a challenge in terms of how to allow players game time, which as a club we're looking at to develop further in terms of perhaps maybe getting another team. But so far so good, I would say, from a Sunday point of view. But I think the real shining light and the real rewarding part so far for myself and the staff, which I'll go on to later on, is the Wednesday, the Category 1. So it's the first year in the club's history that we've had a Category 1 team representing not just ourselves, not just the town, but also the college, at the highest possible level in terms from a college point of view. Playing the likes of Rochdale, Newcastle, Thomas Telford, to name a few. And of course, I think the highlighted thing for us was playing better teams on a weekly basis. And that's no disrespect to the teams that we played last year, but in my eyes, and I know my assistants, Jace Brinley, Simon Smith and Kieran Lee Birch, we've all done fantastic as well. We wanted to really challenge the boys to hopefully then get more and more boys comfortable within a challenging environment, instead of knocking 9 or 10 past teams which they're expected to win. We're not expected to win many Category 1 games, but we're currently 3rd in that table, which is excellent. We unfortunately got knocked out the quarter-final of the League Premier Cup, but for me, certainly, and for the players, it's a learning curve. We didn't know what to expect going into those games. Certainly we know now, and it's something that we're looking to carry on going forward in terms of, I think what I'm trying to say, Rev, is readying the players for that elite environment. Look how the first team are doing. That the first team it's everyone's cup final playing against TNS. That's the message that we're trying to install on the boys. Everyone wants to beat TNS for the right reasons, for the wrong reasons as well, but everybody wants to beat TNS, and it's a privilege for the boys to be here. So Wednesday's gone really, really well. We've got 34 boys in the phase. We've got spread out over 2 teams, but I think what I wanted to do this year was not brand it. I wanted it to be a squad effort rather than individual effort. Yes, granted, along the way, there's been some players that have gone because they've found game time difficult. They found the competition extremely difficult. They found the travelling, which I can fully understand, being such of a young age and living away from home, a challenge. It's the environment I'm trying to create on a par with other professional teams, United, Liverpool, where I've gone in and done case studies with them. Has everything been perfect? Absolutely not. But personally, I think there's been a lot more high and positive points rather than areas for improvement. But of course, as a club, as a phase, we are striving towards being the best provider. I'm not saying the best team because it's a little bit different. Whereas, yes, we want to create the winning mentality. It has got to come through development as well, and I think that's where the changes to training has helped. In terms of introducing more strength and conditioning programs, more strength and conditioning sessions, more frequent fitness sessions with the first team strength and conditioning coach Ed Harper, regular contact with Greg Jones, who is the assistant first team physio, but is our head of physio at the professional phase. It's just trying to bridge that gap between ourselves and the first team, where perhaps maybe in past years the gap's been big, but I knew it was always going to be difficult, big boots to fill with Evo, because he's a club legend, and look at the players that he's produced that have come through. Scott Quigley, Jacob, Aaron, Ryan Price, Andy Witchley. Like, if I can emulate with my staff any of those types of players with a lot of talented boys we've got at the moment, I feel that we're doing our jobs right. But it's been rewarding, and I think another way it's been rewarding is because of international call-ups. We've had 8 involved in the Welsh Academy trials. That Welsh team is not set in stone at the moment, so there'll be a number of boys that perhaps have missed out on a few contacts that we're going back in, hearing very good reports from all the staff, players, parents. It's just an added bow into their hats, should we say, and another opportunity here they get at the club. On the flip side, over the border, there's been a number of boys that have gone on and represented England schools and England colleges and independent schools, whether that's through games or trials. So in total, we've got 12 current professional phase players that are with their international respective teams, which I think is an outstanding achievement, but certainly one that I'm not taking credit for, the staff aren't taking credit for. It's down to the players. The players have thrived in the environment that, yes, we've set for them, but they've taken it upon themselves to go and get to that next level. And I think the category 1, yes, I think 19s league at times a little bit false in terms of playing teams that perhaps are a little bit easy to beat, but there are a number of very, very good teams at 19s league, and that's what we thrive for as well. That's what the club strive for, and of course they're the youngest team in the league. I think every time we play, we have at least 8 or 9 16-year-olds in an under-19s league, which I think is outstanding. That's credit to, of course, Jace for bringing them through the 16s, but I think it's credit obviously for Evo for what he did over a number of years, and of course to my other staff as well, Simon and Kieran. But I think the message is to the other teams and other managers that are watching, we're not done. I'm not happy with what we've achieved because it's been 4 months. That's it. I'll be happy when the end of the season, let's see how many players go on and make full international appearances, how many more players go and represent the first team, whether that's in training or in competitive matches. We want to set a challenging and rewarding environment. Yes, there's going to be times where there's knocks along the way. My job is to ready players for the first team or for other professional teams. Have I got things wrong? Yeah, but I'm relatively new in the phase, and I think myself and the staff, we take criticisms, we take disagreements, we take things that perhaps we haven't worked out. We all take it on board, and we look to strive and improve the opportunity that we provide, not just for players, but I think for parents as well. A new thing that we brought in terms of filming. So the games are regularly filmed, whether that's for either squad on a Wednesday, for a Sunday. It's difficult as a parent watching all of your son's games as a 16-year-old, which has been on the weekend, to then expect them to come out of work on a Wednesday afternoon. I can see that's difficult, and I'll probably get that when I have children of my own, but we provide the service where the players and the parents get the footage of the game, and that's received good reviews as well. And of course, Evo and Scotty look at that footage as well, and as I mentioned before, and it's about bridging that gap. It's not the professional phase and the first team, it's merging it together, so hopefully we can create more first team players of the future, and that's echoed really with the first team involvement. So you've got Evo and Scotty who have been unbelievable, supporting myself,